Well, 2010, not a great year from a philanthropic standpoint. The biggest givers gave the smallest amount since 2000. Stacey Palmer is the editor of the Chronicle of Philanthropy, and she joins us now from Washington. Stacey, thank you for being here, first of all, and let's dig into those numbers. I mean, still the top 54 givers gave some $3.3 billion, but it's a big decline.
It is. It's the lowest amount we've seen since we started compiling the list in 2000. And it's a sign of the bad economy, causing even the very wealthiest to take a pause and think about their giving.
Okay, but these are people that may be affected by the stock market, may be affected by the broader economy, but still, what do you think is the driver here beyond that? We saw Mark Zuckerberg obviously added to the list. George Soros topped the list, giving more than $330 million. But what were the surprises to you?
The main thing that surprised us was how few of the people who are the very wealthiest in this country appeared on the list. Only 17 of the people who are in the Forbes 400 made the list. And what's wonderful about the list is there are lots of names that you've never heard of.
Sure.
But the people who have the greatest wealth appear to be holding back in their giving.
Interesting to note that in 2010, that is the same year that Warren Buffett and Bill and Melinda Gates launched the Giving Pledge, asking all billionaires around the world to dedicate at least half their wealth to philanthropic endeavors now or by the time that they die. So why do you think that is, that we did see the Giving Pledge and the big push there, but at the same time you're seeing the lowest numbers since you started recording them?
One of the things that the Giving Pledge was trying to do is encourage people to give over their lifetime or when they die. And so they didn't necessarily have to give this year. And so I think many wealthy people are trying to figure out just how are they going to give that money away and think about how the economy will affect them. So we saw some people who gave this year gave gifts that they had planned to give 2 or 3 years ago because the economy slowed them down. So I think we're just seeing a pause, not a withdrawal from the giving market from these very wealthy people.
Talk to us about some of the people on this list, Stacey, and also what they gave to. I know a lot of the donations were to universities. Any notable donations, either the figures that gave the money or what they gave it to you, that really stood out?
Absolutely. Education was by far the most popular kind of thing. And as you noted, the Zuckerberg gift to Newark's public schools was a really unusual gift. It's not that he had any connection with the Newark schools in any way. And we saw a number of people who gave to institutions that weren't necessarily where they went to school. There's a wonderful woman named Mary McKinney who gave to the University of Texas at San Antonio. And she took courses there later in her life. She heard how students were struggling to pay tuition, and she decided when she died to give lots and lots of money to those people. But, it wasn't out of any real personal connection to the institution, but a feeling that young people deserve a chance. And we saw a lot of that on the list.
Any notables that fell off the list this year?
One of the people we didn't see on the list this year was Oprah Winfrey. She usually has been on the list.
She had a network to start. So.
She did, so she's been a little busy. So we expect to see more from her.
Okay, looking also at these gifts, I know a lot went to education, but we're not talking about just education so you can have a building on campus named after you. A lot of this was targeted money. I know some towards environmental efforts at schools. It was more targeted, right?
Yes, absolutely. And a number of donors said that they really wanted to help students pay tuition costs. They recognized that it was very, very hard for some young people to pay, especially in this bad economy. And so we saw a lot more money targeted at, the very basic instinct of scholarships. And so plenty of money goes to research and the things that we've seen before, but also a lot of money to help kids pay for school.
So what are you expecting to see in 2011? We're only really 2 months in, not even. But what is this trend showing us for this year in terms of philanthropy?
Already we know it's a much healthier year. Just last week there was a $100 million gift to the Mayo Clinic announced, and even more exciting, a $9 billion foundation is being created by a Cargill heiress. And that means that that's a foundation that's bigger than all but the top 2 wealthiest grant makers in the entire country. So lots of money is already beginning to flow into philanthropy in